Holy shit. Holy shit. Well, how do we work that one? How do we discuss this one? Because holy hell, who, ha, uh, uh, it's crazy. It's crazy. This offense, ugh, ugh, this offense stinks. This offense stinks. But they did win. They did win. The Eagles did win, 13-12 in Buffalo. Wins are all important. And yes, they still do have a chance for the 2 seed. It really depends on what Chicago does tonight against San Francisco. That game is starting in like a half hour or so or something like that. But yeah, there's still a play for the 2 seed now that the Eagles did win. But like I said, it does matter on what Chicago does. I don't even know if that's a game that I feel good after. Obviously, I feel good about the defense because the defense balled out the entire night. They 100% did. And granted, you do get lucky with Josh Allen missing a wide-open receiver in the end zone for that 2-point conversion. That definitely was that definitely was something. But defense gets gassed at the end of the game because the offense can't stay on the field. You had 17 yards of offense the entire second half. Like, how is that even physically possible? Sometimes you just luck into a long drive. The Eagles just couldn't do anything in the second half whatsoever. It is actually insane how bad, how putrid the offense was in that second half. It's like you can't even describe how bad it was. You can't even, because it was that bad. It was that bad. They could not do anything. They couldn't. Seriously, if you just go to Jeff Kerr and just look at what it was, just second half, 17 plays, 17 yards for 3 and outs. Jalen Hurts was 0 for 7 with 0 yards in the second half. The entire offense was bad. The entire offense was bad. After they had a pretty decent first half, there was some creativity. There was some flow to the offense. Jalen Hurts was making good plays. A.J. Brown was making good catches. There was some life to Saquon in the run game. But then something just completely flipped in the second half to where the offense couldn't get jack shit. And this is against the worst pass rush, the worst rushing team or defense in the National Football League in Buffalo. They suck at defending the run, and they couldn't do shit in the second half. Now, that also goes to the offensive line can't block for shit this year. Just the entirety of the offense, they just went so vanilla, they went so blah. They went back to what didn't work. It didn't stick to what did work in the second half. It resulted in that game being way closer than it needed to be. That's what it was. It was way closer than anything it needed to be. It didn't need to be that close. It didn't have to come to a 2-point conversion. Thank God for the blocked extra point. Thank God for that case, because because Buffalo would have won the game if it wasn't for that blocked extra point. It's basically what it would have been. Now, granted, yes, the refs were bad in this game. The missed defensive pass interference call on Buffalo, where A.J. Brown is down near the goal line, that was definitely 100% a missed call. There were a lot of bad calls. The reversal of the catch from Devontae Smith, where it didn't look like there was clear, concise evidence that he dropped the ball or lost possession of the ball on that catch. There definitely wasn't much there, in my personal opinion, to overturn that. But, once you saw a little bit of the bobble there, once Devontae hit the ground, you knew they were going to overturn that, even though it didn't look like it was clear and concise. Yeah, the refs were definitely all over the place, but it's NFL refereeing. I'm not shocked that it was all over the place. I'm definitely not whatsoever. There was also, a very missed, what was it, an illegal block on one of those that final drive for Buffalo in the goal line. Marcus Epps literally just got targeted, got taken down nowhere near the play, and there wasn't a flag thrown whatsoever. This game was just fucking ugly. Seriously, you're in a game where Josh Allen is running back and taking his team out of field goal range, taking a sack at midfield when his team is near the fucking red zone. What is this guy doing? What is this guy doing? The defense balled out. The defense flat out fantastic, like they have been week after week after week after week. And they deserve their praise. They deserve their comeuppance because they are the reason why you even win this game. It's not the offense. No way. No fucking how. No. No! First half offense good. Second half offense, what the fuck happened? Seriously. Seriously, it doesn't make sense. How bad it got. There's no excuse for how bad it got. it's it's crazy. It's like there's no and the one thing that annoys me, and here's another stat from Jeff Kerr, just about how bad the second half was. This is specifically about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, he went 0 for 8 with 0 yards in the second half against the Buccaneers in Week 4. He went 0 for 7 with 0 yards in the second half against the Bills. Jesus. How did the Eagles win both of those games? That is insane. That is insane. Because, honest to God, this game was a pure replication of, honestly, that Buccaneers game where, granted, you did win that game. You go up big in the first half, but then you let Tampa Bay back into the game. You still found a way to win that. But then you have the Denver game where you go up at halftime. You go up by double digits. You let Denver back into the game, and then they win the game. The same thing with the fucking Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. You go up big at half. You allow them back into the game because your offense can't do offense in the second half. It's that same thing that everybody fears going into the playoffs. They don't have the kill switch. They don't have the ability to just bury teams when they should be burying these teams. Buffalo was dead to rights. Buffalo was dead to rights in that first half. They couldn't do a lick on offense. You were shutting down their run game, which is the best run game in the National Football League, might I add you, Buffalo is. You were shutting that down. Josh Allen, yes, Josh Allen definitely was limited in today's game because he definitely is dealing with a foot injury. You shut Josh Allen down for the most part. Yeah, he did make some big plays, but for the most part, through 3.5 quarters, you shut him down. Buffalo had no rights to still be involved in this game, yet your offense, the second half offense, is the reason why this game was closer than it needed to be. If you get one more touchdown, if you get one more field goal, you don't need to stress. You don't have to stress at that final stage of the game because the game's already over at that point. It's the fact that your offense just couldn't get anything going whatsoever. Nothing. Nothing. It is insane to even think about that, how bad it got in the second half. And I understand the weather conditions were very bad. The weather up there in Buffalo, it was pouring nonstop the entire game. I understand you're going to drop passes in certain situations. There was a play that Devontae Smith should have had in that fourth quarter, which would have extended the drive for the Eagles and maybe changing some difference in the game right there. Devontae Smith has to make that catch. But there definitely were plays for Buffalo's standpoint where their players dropped passes because of the rain, because of the weather. But it's the offense literally just cannot put teams away when they really need to. And that is the one difference between this year's offense and last year's offense. The problems with last year's offensive side with the passing game, they still knew how to put teams away. Granted, the running game and the offensive line were much better. The run game and the offensive line this year are drastically worse. Even though I do think there's a little bit more with Saquon, I still don't think this offensive line is playing up to snuff. I don't. But you don't know how to put teams away. I understand it's the Bills, they're a tough team, yada, 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 blah, 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 but they had no business being in this game whatsoever with your defense, with the way they were playing. Your offense let them back into the game because it's 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. It's insane. Let's just look at the stats in totally for this game for the offense. Jalen Hurts, he had a very good first half, but then the numbers reflect more of what the second half was and how bad him and the offense were. 13 of 27 for his pass attempts and completions, 110 yards total, 1 touchdown. He only took 1 sack and finished with a 71.5 quarterback rating. Saquon Barkley, I thought had a good first half. Once again, reflection of the entire offense. Bad in the second half. 19 carries for 68 yards. His longest was 16. Tank Bigsby only had 2 carries. Jalen Hurts ran the ball 3 times, only for 5 yards. Will Shipley ran the ball twice. If you go to the offense, A.J. Brown had a very good first half, but then really nothing was going in the second half for anybody. I don't even think A.J. Brown was targeted that much in the second half. That's just how bad the offense was in general. A.J. Brown, 5 catches for 68 yards. Devontae Smith only had 2 catches on 5 targets for 25 yards. Dallas Goedert only had 3 catches on 6 targets. He had a touchdown in this game. Cooper had a target. Alcantara had a target. Tank Bigsby had a target. Jahan Dotson had a target. It's insane. But then you just go to the defense. Cooper DeJean, I thought, had a very good game. Now, there were situations where a couple of guys in the backfield got burned. I think Cooper and Blankenship were one of them. Marcus Epps allowed a big catch near the end part of that game where it was Buffalo, I believe that was It was a third down play, or it was a fourth down. No, the fourth down play was that shuttle, ladder pass that they were doing. Play here, shuttle it to the other guy, blah blah blah. They go down and go back down the field. But there definitely were, Jahad Campbell with a fumble recovery. Zach Bond, I thought, was very good. Jalen Phillips, once again. Jalen Phillips did leave with an ankle injury for a little bit, but came back, which was huge. There was a sequence in this game defensively. I forget it was in the second quarter or in the third quarter, where they were just fucking mean-mugging everybody. Fucking mean-mugging. Blankenship with a big hit. I think, fucking going after fucking Josh Allen, destroying him. I forget if it was Jalen Hunter or Jomo or something like that, or even Jalen Carter with a huge sack. They were getting to Josh Allen all night. They were getting to him, and they were making his life horrible. They sacked him 5 times. Jalen Hunt had 2 sacks. Jalen Phillips had a sack. Jomo had a sack. Jalen Carter had a sack. Those guys were balling out. It's insane how good the defense was for a lot of this game. They were shutting Buffalo down. They were making their lives miserable. And the only reason it became a game is because your offense couldn't stay on the field, which then forced the defense out there constantly, and your defense got gassed. Granted, your defense did come up big. Now, some of that was on Buffalo mistakes. Game of inches, honestly. It's a game of very few inches. Plays where Josh Allen is trying to scrimmage to the goal line, trying to get a touchdown. He gets down a yard short or 2. On the final drive, tight end, down a yard or 2. You do get the touchdown eventually, but then Josh Allen misses wide left to the open receiver in the end zone. So yeah, it's a game of inches. This was definitely a game of inches. And Buffalo did make more mistakes than you did. But still, the offense's inability to completely just bury teams and put them away is the reason why this game was even closer than it needed to be. Way closer than it needed to be. It didn't need to be that close. But why was it close? Your offense. That's the sole reason. And that, my friends, is the main reason why so scared for a playoff. Because what if this happens again? Are they going to have the ability to put teams away? I don't know. I don't know if they're going to have the ability to put teams away. Because this offense really hasn't done that all season. They really haven't done it all year. When they go up big, they let the team back into the game. They've had that on multiple occasions this year. So, when you're in the playoffs going up against better teams like San Fran, teams like Los Angeles, teams like Seattle, if you go up against those guys at halftime and you're up by a good score, is your offense just going to go flat? Is your offense just going to get too cute, get too conservative, and just not do anything, and you let the other team back into the game because your defense can't stay? Your defense is forced onto the field constantly because of your offense. Going 3 and out. Now, yes, maybe some things are different with different weather conditions. Maybe some things are different where the refs aren't dog shit. But I still think a lot of it was in your control offensively, and you just completely just couldn't do shit for most of the night in the second half. Like, you just cannot let teams back into the game like that. And you're lucky you were only going up against a hindered Josh Allen. Because what if Josh Allen wasn't hindered by his leg? Now, Josh Allen still had a chance to win the game. He did. Completely missed his target for the 2-point conversion. But still, like, imagine if Josh Allen was, less hindered. Maybe talking about a different situation. But then you're also talking about a situation if A.J. Brown gets the call in his benefit on the pass interference in the second quarter or the first quarter, wherever it was. Maybe you're talking about, instead of a 13-point lead going into the half, you're talking about maybe a 21-point lead, a 20-point lead or something like that. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's a little bit different. I'm not sure. But those are questions that I just don't know where I can find those answers, because what we've been seeing basically the entire year is just the offense's inability just to play a full 60 minutes, play a full 4 quarters. They really haven't done that at all. They have their glimpses, they have their flashes of things that look like maybe they figured stuff out, but then they just go right back to where they normally are. And that's what scares me going into the playoffs. Now they do have a chance for the 2 seed next week. Well, not right now. For the time being, they do. it's all according to what Chicago does tonight in San Francisco. Chicago wins, you don't have a shot at the 2 seed next week. You should be resting your players against Washington. Now, if you do have a chance at the 2 seed, you're probably going to start the players, most likely. So it's really just playing it by ear at this point. If you don't have a shot at that 2 seed, I am resting players. I am giving them a bye week because I think that's really important for them. They need a week off. I think just I just think that's more beneficial for this team because I know there's a chance with the 2 seed and all that stuff, but I don't know what's going to happen. It's you need the week off. I think. I think having the week off of rest is more important right now than getting the 2 seed, in my personal opinion. I just don't think there's a shot because I know Chicago's playing San Fran tonight, but who is Chicago playing next week? Who are they playing next week? Are they playing the divisional opponent? I don't remember. Who are they playing next week? They're playing the Lions. And didn't the Lions get eliminated? I think they did. So the Lions got them eliminated. Jesus Christ. So, granted, that game will probably be very meaningless for both squads because the Bears, I think, already clinched the NFC North. But the Bears, I think, would still be are they still fighting for the 1 seed? No, they have no shot at the 1 seed. So basically, it would just be if Chicago wins tonight, they get the 2 seed. That's basically it because there's no shot in hell that the Eagles can get the 2 seed if Chicago wins. So tonight's very important for Chicago. And in terms for San Francisco, I'm not sure where maybe San Francisco gets the 2 seed if that's the case. I'm not entirely sure. So we're just going to have to wait and see. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how that offense, man, was just ugly. It was just ugly. It was not fun to watch. I'm not sure. What else is there? I don't see anything on the Twitterverse, so I don't know. No, I don't see anything else. We do have some voicemails here on the Anytime Hotline. We will get to those. In terms of stats and everything like that, obviously, I read you all the stats. The offense, what more can I say? The offense was bad. Just go over some series. Just look at the difference between the first half and the second half drives. So let's see. When you got your first touchdown, that was off of the fumble play where obviously Josh Allen turned it over. I guess he tried to do a tuck, and then the ball came out. Goes over. Good on Jahad Campbell for recovering that fumble. You end up getting a touchdown on that drive, which was the only touchdown of the game. But then you have, a 13-play, almost 6-minute drive right there that led to a field goal. You had a 10-play drive for almost 3 minutes that led to a field goal before the end of half. But then look at some of these other drives. Your longest drive of the entire second half was the first drive. 5 plays for 2.5 minutes. That was nothing. That led to a punt. And then you have 3 plays, no yards, 25 seconds. 3 plays, 2 yards, 2 minutes and 12 seconds. 3 plays, 4 yards, 1 minute and 46 seconds. 3 plays, -2 yards in 1 minute and 50. And then you had, obviously, the last drive of the game after Buffalo screwed it up on the 2-point conversion. But still, just brother, how did it get that bad? How did it get that bad? How did it get that bad? It does not make sense. It really doesn't. And in terms of the penalties, let's see how weird the penalties were. There weren't that many flags called in the game, actually. It's probably more the missed stuff than I guess in some of the other decisions that a lot of people had the issues with during this game. Only 3 penalties on the Eagles, only 4 penalties on Buffalo, all that stuff. In terms of, Buffalo outpassed you, obviously, 211 to 108. Rushing yards, they 120 to 82 in favor of Buffalo. It's just total yards, 331 to 190. It's crazy. It's just crazy. That's how bad the offense was in the second half. It really was. That's how bad it was. Insanely bad. Pathetic. Honest to God. Pathetic. Yeah. Let's see, is there anything else that stands out from tonight's game? I don't think there is. Besides the offense. And it's really just going back into repeating the same stuff. as we do week after week with this offense. So, yeah, it's crazy. Oh, yeah, I also didn't, tell you guys, I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. That was the one thing I forgot to mention to you guys, because that's just how much this game was ending was fucking crazy. Hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. I hope y'all did, because, just hope y'all did. Hope y'all had a Merry Christmas. Sorry, I blanked out there. I'm getting, so many vibrations on my phone right now. But yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed last week with the holidays with their families, however they chose to celebrate it. And granted, we do have the New Year upcoming, so more chances to celebrate with family, however you choose to celebrate the holidays. So, but I do think we'll have some more discussions this week, because obviously the Flyers are starting right now in Seattle. So we'll have some Flyers talk possibly this week. They got a lot of late games, though. It's Flyers after dark a lot. They got Seattle tonight. I think they're in Western Canada, so I think they're in Vancouver and Calgary on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then they play at Edmonton at the end of the week. So a lot of late games for the Flyers. A lot of late stuff here. But, yeah. Let's get to the Anytime Hotline. Let's get to your calls. Let's see what you guys have to say. We got a call from Sean. We got a call from Mist. Let's get the Mist. We haven't heard from Mist in a while. Let's get the good old Mist. Let's see what he got. What you got? I also got these new headphones, so I'm trying them out for this stream. And let's see what Mist has to say.
Amadeo, my brother. Merry Christmas to you and yours. But also these fucking birds, baby. Look, we saw some of the things that we've seen in the offense we don't like. We saw some weird situations. We saw some times where they weren't able to perform. At times that we needed them to put the game away. But look, you can't count out the conditions. I mean, shit, it was raining like crazy the whole game, and that's tough. And you could see this electric Bills offense that has been great was also having a lot of trouble. But that's where we get to the defense, my man. The defense that was so good. So good. And I have full faith now. Like, I'm ready to take it all the way, because nobody can stand up to a defense like this. Nobody. There's no quarterback that, thrives in a defense like this, against a defense like this. Like, you can't do anything. You cannot win games if you cannot score points. And our offense, as annoying as it is, they might not be scoring 50 whatever points like they were last year, although they might get there. I mean, they didn't get there until the end of last year, but, it's just, it keeps them in games, keeps them there, and the offense, and you saw what Jalen Hurts could do in these moments that you needed him today. Oh, God, I love you, Jalen. Love this team. Go Birds.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, the defense balled the hell out. That's the one thing that we can always remain confident in with this team is their defense. Defense, flat out fantastic, flat out amazing. They basically do everything every single week. It's crazy how great the defense has been. The way they were able to shut Buffalo down, especially shut their running game down. The way they were able to get to Josh Allen. Jalen Carter in his return after missing a couple of weeks was an absolute beast. Bond continues to be a beast. Cooper DeJean continues to be a beast. Ajomo has his moments. Jalix Hunt has his moments. Jalen Phillips has been very great since being traded over here. I mean, there's a lot of things that you love about the defense. And yes, this is a Super Bowl caliber defense. This is a defense that wins you Super Bowls. That is 100% the truth. And it's going to be very tough to score on this defense every single week. It's 100% the case. That is a fact. That is truth. Everything there. It's just my fear when you see in these games is that when the offense can't stay on the field, and that's not the defense's fault, because when you're on the field so many times in short succession, you're going to get tired, you're going to get gassed, you're going to give up stuff. And that's my fear mainly with the offense, because they don't give the defense a break. That's the problem. They just don't give the defense a break. And I don't blame any of those last two. Really, the only thing that I really blame on is Marcus Epps not breaking up that deep pass in one of those final drives for Buffalo. That's really the only thing that I blame on. I don't blame on that fourth down conversion that Buffalo got. That was a trick play, and that was very well designed. Can't really predict for that. So overall, defense played fantastic. I can't blame them for Buffalo getting back into the game because they were gassed. They were just gassed. It's the offense, man. That's what I'm scared of. Get to Sean. Sean, what you got?
Well, one thing is certain after this game, and there is a consensus on this. The offense still continues to suck. I mean, yeah, you can look good against inferior opponents, and I will give, the weather conditions a little bit to do with it. But my biggest problem with this game for the Eagles was their game plan for the entire game. You come out in a driving rain throwing the ball, and then in the second half when you have a 13-0 lead, and the first two plays of the second half, Barkley gets you a first down with 2 straight carries. You go away from it, and you want to throw the ball. And as I'm watching the game, I'm saying to myself, all these incomplete passes are giving Buffalo free stops of the clock. And you knew that Buffalo was going to rally. They should have won the game. Josh Allen gagged for them at the end. That 2-point conversion was wide open. It should have been a gimme and an Eagles loss. But they escaped. But, again, just terrible offensive game plan, horrible clock management in the second half. The defense got tired, had some fluky things go against them, but this offense just isn't good enough for prime time. I'm sorry. Playoff time, you play like this, I don't give a shit who you play, where you play, when you play. You're going to be out of the playoffs as quick as you start.
I couldn't say it any better myself. That's my biggest problem with the offense. It's that for as great as this defense is, it's this offense they can't give the defense a break. This offense they just get too conservative. They get too when they show things that look, that was nice, that was interesting, that was creative. They just go back to doing what they normally do, and they think when they get a good lead, they think we'll just let our defense carry us the rest of the way. We don't have to do much. We just go back to, simple stuff, Pop Warner stuff. No, you got to learn to put teams away. They don't. This offense has no idea how to put teams away. And whether that's most likely a Patullo thing, that's a game plan thing, that's a game design thing, it's a philosophy thing, they can't do anything. So it's bad. It's very, 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 very bad. And I just, it's insane. It's insane. But, yeah, that's what scares me with this team. It really does. That's what really scares me. So, crazy. Crazy. Ugh. There's this. So, obviously, next week they play against Washington at the Link, but most likely, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this game with Chicago and San Francisco. Obviously, we'll all keep tabs on it to see what happens with that situation. If Chicago wins, next week is meaningless, and you can rest the starters, which I think is more important than anything else. But if Chicago does lose, obviously the Eagles will play their starters next week to try to get the 2 seed, whatever chance. And obviously, I don't know what time that. So obviously, both games next week are to be determined with flexes and all that stuff. So we have really no idea when that game will be. I think it's going to be decided what happens. I think that game time will be decided what happens with Chicago tonight. That's basically it. So, just annoying. They'll most likely be a 3 seed, and they'll probably play somebody from the NFC West. That's probably what it's going to be. Because if we look at the standings right now, just to see where everything does line up. So look at the conference. So the other teams that are in the wild card right now, San Fran, Los Angeles, and Green Bay. They have the 3 wild card spots. And obviously the Seahawks right now, they have the 1 seed. They're most likely going to have the bye week at this rate. So Chicago, I would assume Chicago plays Green Bay if everything stays the way that it is. Eagles, they'll probably play the Rams, and then the Panthers, they'll play the 49ers. I guess that's the way everything would shake up if that's the case. So we'll see. We will see. Let's get to the chat right here for a little bit before we end it off. The Flyers just started to run the television behind me. The one thing that is because I do have Fubo, because I saw your comment right there, Ray, about it being on NHL Network, out of market and all that stuff. So I have Fubo television, and Fubo currently doesn't have NBC because they lost the rights to it. I guess the one thing that is beneficial of the Flyers being on NHL Network, I guess they're not considering the out-of-market stuff because NBC isn't on Fubo anymore, so I can watch this on NHL Network on Fubo on my television. So that's the one benefit right there, I guess. So that's lucky for me. I don't have to worry about using a VPN right now to watch the game and go through that pain. But yeah, Franco, this defense is so elite. Yes, it is. The Eagles can't even move the chains to kill time. I know, man. It's annoying. Another game, another 10 years off my life. Yep, exactly, Austin. Kevin Patullo, yep, too conservative, too conservative. And Eagles likely a 3 seed playing an NFC West team, and this offense won't cut it in the playoffs. Yeah, I agree. I just don't think this offense will be good enough come playoff time. I could be proven wrong, no, in this defense, or the offense just completely somehow figures it the fuck out. I don't expect it to, because that's just the way the offense has been the entire year. So, yeah. That'll do it for tonight, everybody. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hopefully everybody had a good Christmas. Well, we maybe have one more thing here this week, maybe, depending on what the Flyers do, or if the Phillies happen to make news, or something like that, before the new year comes. And if there isn't anything like that, hope everyone at the year does have a happy new year. But I do plan on doing something Flyers related probably before the new year. Maybe I'll do a watch stream or something like that for one of these games in Western Canada this week. So we'll see. Obviously, it won't be on New Year's Eve. It'll probably be on Tuesday with the Vancouver game. So, like I said, play it by ear. So, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. And use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Appreciate y'all.